Hey everybody, Mike here coming at you from Badlands Paintball. Well, today I actually want to do a little bit of a tech video and it's going to be taking apart and properly maintaining a Spyder MR5. And now for all of you mag-fed junkies out there, hopefully you all jumped on the MR5 series, both the MR5 here and the EMR5. Now teching and maintaining these markers is very easy, but it can be a little bit confusing for new players. Alright, so before you ever get started teching, you'll always want to make sure you have everything that you need to tech your marker. For starters, you'll want to have your manual out and ready. The Spyder MR5 manual is fantastic, shows you everything that you need to know, so having that manual is going to be a huge help out there. You're also going to want to have your tech parts bag. It does come with extra cup seals and O-rings, everything you'll need to get started and rock and rolling. And keep out all of your Allen keys. These Allen keys are going to help you take apart your marker, of course, and you'll likely need oil as well to re-oil your O-rings. It doesn't hurt to have some paper towel around as well to clean out any of old paint that's been sitting in there if you did happen to get a barrel break. Alright guys, so when it comes to teching the MR5, the first thing that we're probably going to want to clean and maintain is going to be the venturi bolt, and of course cleaning out any of the paint inside of the breech. When we pull out the venturi bolt, we're also going to gain access to our striker bolt and the striker spring as well. Now the striker bolt actually has an O-ring on it that will need to be lubed as well. So we're going to pull out all of these internals all at once. So to gain access to these internals, first of all we're going to have to remove the stock. To do that, you actually have to remove a single screw on the side of the marker here. So I'm going to get the right Allen key for the job, and I'm going to take out that first screw. So twist this screw all the way out. Now, a really helpful tip, guys, is for starters always to use the right Allen key for the right screw, okay, or else you'll end up shipping those screws. And then once you take that screw out, put it somewhere safe, away from an edge of a table where you're going to be able to keep track of them and make sure that nothing's slipping off or sliding out of the way, okay? The last thing you want to have happen is have your screw go missing, right? So now that I've removed that rear screw, I can actually remove my stock altogether, slide that to the side. Now to gain access to the internals, I now have to remove this single push pin here, okay? So I can actually push it from this side and then pull it the rest of the way out. Just like so. Now you can see here, we actually have a little bit of tension on our striker plug, okay? A helpful tip, if you are teching this marker and you're planning on pulling out the striker plug and the internals, do it while the marker is uncocked. That will relieve a lot of the tension on this striker plug and of course the striker spring. So now I can remove my striker spring here, set that to the side, and I'm actually going to gently tap the back of my marker until my rear parts come out. So there is my buffer O-ring, so the striker buffer, that's great. I can remove that to the side. And now we can actually see here, I've got the venturi bolt and the striker bolt. So that's the striker bolt right there and my venturi bolt. So you're going to want to make sure that you clean off any paint on your venturi bolt, any paint that may have got its way down into the striker bolt or striker spring, and buffer of course. So once you know that all the paint is off all these pieces and all the paint is out of your internal breech, you can actually now run a swab even down the inside of that breech and make sure it's all clean on the inside. So once you know the paint is off all those pieces, you'll want to re-lube the two O-rings on your venturi bolt and re-lube the front O-ring on your striker bolt there. Once you know that everything is clean and re-lubed, we can now install these pieces back into your breech. To do that, you're actually going to start by partially inserting your venturi bolt. And you can see on this venturi bolt that there's actually a pin. That pin is going to insert into the hole on your striker bolt here. So we can actually insert that pin into the striker bolt, and both of these pieces will reinsert back into the marker together. Now, as we're applying pressure to the venturi bolt, you're going to want to pull on your trigger. That's going to release the sear and allow that bolt to go back into its original position. Okay? Now, once that bolt and a striker bolt are back in place, I'm going to reinsert my striker buffer. Make sure it's flush up against the end of my striker bolt. And then I can insert my spring and then begin to reinsert my striker plug. Now, as I start to push my striker plug in, you're going to notice there's actually more tension than when you pull it out. That is because your entire rammer and bolt haven't got past the sear. So you just want to pull that trigger one more time, and that'll cycle everything forward and really relieve that tension on that striker plug there. So now that I have everything back in and lined up, I can reinsert my push pin there, and we're good to go. Now, the other piece that you will likely want to take apart and replace if possible is going to be the eco cup seal and possibly the eco valve pin. Okay, so to gain access to the eco cup seal, we actually have to slide back this entire trigger frame and mag well. So starting to do that, I want to actually remove my mag. I'll remove my barrel here just to make things a little bit easier. Now, to remove this grip frame from the body, for starters, we are going to have to remove the ASA from the grip frame. So there are 2 screws in the bottom of the ASA that we have to pull out. So I'm going to get access to those right here. Twist those all the way off. Now, just like before, once I remove these 2 screws, I'm going to set them to the side somewhere safe where I can keep track of them. So I'll push each one of those out, 1 to the side, 2 to the side. Perfect. Now, to remove my trigger frame and mag well, there's 3 screws that you're going to have to take out. 2 on the sides of the mag well, 1 and 2, and then 1 at the rear of the trigger frame. So I'll remove these 2 side ones first, and then we can do the rear. So 1 on the side. Make sure you keep track, guys, of these little buffers that are to go in between the frame and the rest of your screw head there. So put that one to the side. Second one here. That's 2, I'll put those 2 together. Now I need a slightly larger O-ring, or Allen key I should say, to get this last screw. So again, make sure you're using the right Allen key for the job, guys. So now I'm removing this rear screw here. And now once this rear screw is removed, we're going to actually be able to slide this grip frame right off. So I'll use my fingers here right at the end. And I can pull that right down and essentially right out of the way. Now, if you use a wrench, you can actually twist off this ASA all the way, and you'll actually be able to remove your grip frame, but there's not really any need for that right now. So, to gain access to your eco valve pin and eco cup seal, you have to remove a single screw here. Now, the eco cup seal and eco valve pin are actually attached and spring loaded in there with the valve spring. So as I twist off this screw, just remember that there is spring tension in there, okay? And so the reservoir plug, which is right at the front here, may want to pop out. So I'm going to keep my finger over top of the reservoir plug as I screw this off. There we go. Remove that single small screw. Once that's removed, I can actually pull out my reservoir plug here. Yep, there's definitely a little bit of spring tension on there. So that's our valve spring there. We've got our Eco Cup seal and our Eco valve pin. So the Eco Cup seal is what you may need to remove and replace. You've got a spare one in your parts kit there, so you can definitely replace that and make sure everything is perfect and in good condition. And you can attach it back to the valve spring. And when we're reinserting this back into our marker, there are going to be 3 main screw holes, okay? You want to have 2 on the side and the 1 on the bottom, okay? So we can slide that all back in here. Make sure our holes are lined up. Now you may have to use your Allen key to line up the holes properly. There we go, I'm good. So make sure that reservoir plug is lined up straight, and now I can insert that vertical screw again. Gonna tighten that back up again. Perfect. So now that screw is tightened back up again, I can reinsert my mag well and trigger frame here. I'll put the single screw in the back first. Tighten that up with my fingers, that's the start, just to make things faster, in the interest of time. Screw that on there, perfect. Now our 2 side screws in the side of the mag well. Number 1. Okay, and number 2 on the other side. Perfect. Now I can reattach my ASA. So I'm going to put each of those 2 longer screws in there, line them up with my holes, and then tighten that right down. Now it's definitely important to tighten up this ASA properly. Generally speaking, that's where you're going to be attaching your tank. So if it's not tightened right, you're going to have a wobbly ASA, and that's no good. So make sure you tighten those up properly. Perfect. I can reinstall my mag here, put the barrel back in, and last but not least, reattach my stock. So when attaching the stock again, you're going to want to make sure this screw hole here lines up with the hole on the side of your marker. Hold that in place, and you can reattach your stock screw here. That's the main teching that you're going to have to do on the MR5. If you do need extra help, please feel free to come into any of our 9 locations across Canada. Lots of helpful guys in there. And also, people, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We have a ton of promotions going on right now, so it's a great chance to win some free stuff. And if you like this video, please follow us on YouTube. Like us. We have more videos coming, more tech tips as well too. And if you have any of your own tech tips regarding this marker, give us a shout, let us know, comment below. We love to hear from you guys, okay? So that is teching the MR5. I hope this helped you all out there, and take care.